Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon C. Jenkins, and I am the host of the 50 Plus and Flirty Dating Summit. And I want to welcome you. Why? Because it's a place where we have fun. FUN. Now, a lot of people might be saying, those 50-year-old people and above need to go somewhere and sit down. No, baby. It is time for us to kick our shoes off and dance like there's no tomorrow. Why? Because we made it, baby. We made it. And the beautiful thing about that is we are at an age where adventure can be our middle name. And so that's why I am so thrilled to introduce to you a fellow adventurer, Joan Price. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Sharon. I'm so happy to be here talking with you. Um, but I got to say that at age 81, I need to keep my shoes on for dancing. And I do dance. I teach line dancing twice a week. Yes, I do.
That is huge. That is huge. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little bit about this special 81-year-old guest. She calls herself an advocate for ageless sexuality. Wow. Define ageless sexuality, Joan.
Our sexual pleasure does not have an expiration dance. We're not an expiration date. We've got dances, but not dates. Can I redo that one?
Of course.
Uh, what I mean by advocate for ageless sexuality is that our sexual pleasure does not have an expiration date. We are not a carton of milk that goes sour if left on the shelf. We are vibrant throughout our lives.
And I agree wholeheartedly. And I see here that the media calls you a senior sexpert. I love it. I love it. The beautiful face of senior sex. The woman leading a sex revolution for seniors. And your favorite is what?
Wrinkly sex kitten.
I
I
love
was called that 20 years ago. I've got so many more wrinkles now, but you can keep calling me that if you want.
it. And I want to make sure people know that after this wonderful interview, you have a blog to keep people alert, aware, and informed. So, talk to me a little bit, Joan, about how you started to write and speak about senior sex.
I've had several careers. I was a high school English teacher for 22 years. Then I was a health and fitness writer and speaker for
Oh,
many years. I'm not even sure how many. And then at age 57, I fell in love with a man who was 64 after being single, both of us single for a number of years. And we had thought, okay, that kind of connection is over. No, 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 no. He was my great love. It was the best relationship and the sexiest ever. So, about 4 years into this relationship, I said to Robert, where are the books about how wonderfully vibrant and spicy and fulfilling sex can be at our age? It's not the same as younger age sex, but it is absolutely marvelous. Who knew this awaited us? And he said, well, you're the writer, write your own. So I thought it would be one book. You'll see behind me, Better Than I Ever Expected, Straight Talk About Sex After 60. But that was only the first book. I wrote that one. And then people said to me, well, That's great. You're having great sex, but I'm not. And these are my problems. And I realized, oh, celebrating older age sexuality was the beginning of my work, not a one off. So then
Oh,
I wrote Naked at Our Age, talking out loud about senior sex, which addressed the problems. And I brought in 45 experts to help answer questions. But then I still wasn't done because there was more to say. So then came The Ultimate Guide to Sex After 50 and Ageless Erotica, an anthology. Well, I lost my great love, Robert, to cancer
oh,
in 2008. And it wasn't until 2019 that I was ready to write a book about sex after grief, which
mm,
is what we're talking about today. It is a book that not only tracks my own grief journey in, I gotta say, for that subject, some entertaining ways, but also gives self help advice every step of the way, whether, sorry, I'm 81, it'll happen. Um, Starting from you're deeply in grief, you don't think you'll ever want anyone else again, to the point that your inner vivacity starts to emerge and starts to kind of tap you on the shoulder or on the clitoris and say, um, I kind of miss sex. Would there be a way that I could have a sexual connection given that I am in grief, given that maybe I don't even want to think about someone else who will be a committed partner? Maybe I just want to kind of see what it would be like and how would I deal with it and what boundaries can I, and so many questions. And what about all the people who are saying it's too early, you shouldn't be dating yet, or when are you gonna, you're stuck. When are you gonna get out of this and start dating again? So I address all of that in Sex After Grief, which has recently been relaunched, the new edition, which has 4 extra chapters, new griever stories, new advice,
wow.
and bigger print.
Bigger print, that
Bigger
counts for a
print.
whole lot.
New
Yeah.
book, older book.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, what have your readers been telling you about this wonderful book that frankly liberates them
Yeah.
to explore a new adventure?
That's really what they are telling me. They're saying, oh, I didn't know if I was normal, whatever the feelings, whether it was, no, I can't ever date again, or I want to be with someone, but I just want it to be sex just to see what it's like, or I want to find another great love, but I also am still in love with my deceased partner. Is it possible to love one person who isn't there and love someone new? And the answer is yes. So, what people have asked me over the years since the 2019 edition came out, that's what I incorporated into the new book. How you can, in the Two Loves chapter, love two people.
Mm,
And also, I have a new chapter on LAT, living apart together, because so many people said, um, I have I have more than half a century of memories. I don't want to get rid of them. I don't want to move into someone else's house. I don't want to give up my home, but I love to have a committed relationship with someone. You can
mm,
do that. You don't have to live together. You can have a committed relationship. So I have a chapter on how that works. I have also a chapter which unfortunately I had to include when life throws you curveballs, because some of the people who wrote to me said, when I wrote to you in 2019, I was starting a new relationship. It was really wonderful. Uh, who knew what would happen? And some people, fortunately, would say, and we're still together, or we're not together, but I learned some things and I can take that with me. But unfortunately, I also had people say, and that person died too.
Oh, wow.
Or that relationship did not to turn out to be as good as I had hoped it would be. Or we're struggling. One of us is ill. Both of us are ill. And it's life happens to us, especially the older we get. The more things happen to us and the more rapidly they happen. But the book itself, although I'm telling you all these really unhappy things, is upbeat. It is trying to give people courage, resilience, or not give them resilience, but tap into their resilience. How do you find that resilience? How do you go on when these bad things happen? And how do you do it? How do you find love again if that's what you want? How do
Mhm,
you find a friend with benefits if that's what you want?
mhm,
What does pilot light lover mean?
mhm.
You
Oh,
may.
tell me, Joan, what does that
Okay.
mean?
This is a term that I borrowed from Gail Sheehy, who wrote Sex and the Seasoned Woman. And in that, um, she doesn't talk about sex a lot in that book, by the way, despite the title, but she does talk about it, the way she discussed our phases of growth in passages. She does that in Sex and the Seasoned Woman. And she introduced the term pilot light lover for someone who has not had sex for a long time, have kind of lost touch of who we are as a sexual being. And we let someone enter our life who ignites our passion again, lights the burner that went
Mm.
out. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, it
And
does.
and usually that person is not going to be a long relationship, a long lasting relationship. It isn't what we're looking for the rest of our life. It's what we're looking for that purpose to ignite something we've lost. This person will come into our life, give us that passion, give us our sexual self, us find our sexual selves again.
Mm,
And then we may find, then we're ready for something more committed. Then we're ready to take what we've got forward and say, thank you for what you gave me. I'll never forget how grateful I am to you. But it's time to move on. It's time for me, or it's time for you, or we're not really well matched, even though we're great in bed. And so I wanna move on now. The pilot light lover is often instrumental to our finding who we are again and tapping into that resilience and going, oh, I can actually get aroused again with a new person. I can respond to a new person. I have it in me. This may not be my person going forward, but I have it in me to do that now.
oh, that is awesome. So, talk to me a little bit about where you are in your journey. Um, you're kind of like a poster child of sorts for that woman, the good girl woman, who is still a little apprehensive about sexual exploration. Talk a little bit about you and how you help that kind of woman take the first step.
Well, the kind of a couple of different questions in that, Sharon.
Mhm.
Um, Let me summarize my grief journey. At first, I thought I could never love anyone else. I had had my great love, lasted 7 years from first kiss to last kiss, 7 years exactly. I take that with me on my path, but I don't think I could love again. That's where I started. And in
Mm,
fact, I had a really hard time even being sexual again, even with myself. I thought, I'm just numb. I don't think if my body would even work.
mm.
And a wonderful sex counselor, no, not a sex counselor, excuse me, a grief counselor said to me, if you have a vibrator, it will work. And I said, oh my God, I've spent the last Last 10 years teaching everybody else about vibrators. Why am I letting my own gather dust? All right, I'll take that on. And she was right. So I was sexual with myself. I started dipping my toes into different ways to have something. I didn't know what I wanted yet. Have
Mhm.
something with someone new. Let someone else near me to touch me. Let me hear that male voice. Let me see another face on the pillow and not go, oh my God, what have I done? But go, oh, good, good. Okay, this is fine for now. So I tried all sorts of things. What worked for me for about a year, year and a half, was a friend with benefits. Someone who really was a friend. He happened to be a lover from my past.
Oh, wow.
I know this came together so well for me. And he wasn't looking for a committed relationship. He was in a committed relationship.
Mhm.
But that relationship had sexual issues.
Mm.
And with his partner's permission, full knowledge, he was given the hall pass to
Mhm.
find his
Oh, hall pass.
sexual
I
a
love
hall
it.
pass like we had in high school. Can I go to the bathroom? Here's a hall pass. Well, can I have a relationship with someone else? Here's a hall pass. Um, he was given permission as long as it was only sexual and friendly. It was and she could have veto power over the new relationship. He could also have she could have veto power for any of the dates. She could say, I know you see Joan on Tuesday, but I want you here on Tuesday. Okay, Joni, I can't see you this week. All right. So it was that kind of arrangement. And it was really wonderful. And it brought me back to where by the end of it, I could say to him, I am ready now to go forward and start dating without the kind of restrictions that you and I have. And you will always be my friend. And I really thank you for getting me to this point. And he actually was ready to move on in some ways in his own life, and it was just perfect. So
Mm.
I was dating and not finding anyone I wanted to date more than once. I wasn't finding anyone for that third date.
Mhm. I hear.
and and then finally someone appeared on OkCupid who had all of my wish list, was the kind of person that if I was ready to start a new relationship, this would be the person I could start it with. We
Oh, wow.
started dating, and I got to say this about the sexual part. We had a first date that I always made first dates either a walking date or a coffee date with a finite end. I can see you from this time to this part time, an hour later, and then I have to go.
Mm.
So it's finite. You don't have to think, oh, how do I get out of this? So we started out, we were supposed to meet in the coffee shop. It was inexplicably closed that day. We went on a walk. We walked not an hour, but an hour and a half. We weren't ready to stop talking. I said, you want to go to dinner? We went to dinner. We stayed there another hour and a half. We still weren't ready to stop talking. So we said, well, let's get in touch by email and plan our next date. And then he tells me I danced away. I started hopping in a gay little private dance as I went to my car. I don't remember doing that, but I believe him. He said he watched me go and he thought, she likes me.
Oh.
Then the most interesting part happens now. We started asking each other so many questions by email over every question we could think of. We had already planned a next date for 2 days later or so. And we were asking questions. And finally, I said, is there anything you haven't asked me that you would like to know? And he said, yes. Can you imagine being sexual with me? And I said, Sharon, I said, I'm imagining it now.
Ooh, wow.
So guess what we did on our next date? And we've been together 7.5 years.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And
Oh,
we don't live together and don't want to.
oh, that is huge. That
Yeah.
is huge. So I'm loving this because this emailing back and forth was, it reminded me of being in high school when you met your first love and you
Yeah.
stayed on the phone and you couldn't get off the
Yes.
phone because
Yes.
you couldn't get enough of him and he couldn't get enough of you.
That's exactly how it happened.
Oh, I
And it doesn't, and I'm not saying that the whole idea of the book is so that you will fall in love again. That may not even be not be what you're ready for. I wasn't ready for it. I
Mhm.
thought, okay, I've met this wonderful man. I'm very interested in him. We're gonna have great dates. We're gonna have great sex, which we did and still do. But I do not want another committed relationship. I went into it with that. We were both being both widowed.
Mm,
We had that in common, which was really important to us. His wife had died recently, but she'd been ill for a very long time.
mhm.
And so I was way farther along in the grief journey than he was. So he was quite content to whatever, he said, however you want to structure this, that's fine with me. Just keep dating me.
Oh, that is cute. That is cute. I love
And
it.
then as it
I love it.
went over the years, it wasn't quick. Over the years, I discovered I'm in love with this man too.
Oh, that is huge. That
Hmm.
is so. My last question is this. What is your parting advice for women who, after grief, are seeking to find themselves, particularly in another relationship? What is your advice?
I love how you phrased that. You said to find themselves, not, you didn't say to find someone else, to find themselves. That's so important. And the most important advice I can give is that everyone's timeline is different. Do not judge yourself if you want to get into another relationship quickly or slowly, or maybe you think not at all, because just keep your open mind. That may change. Keep an open mind. Do not judge yourself for wanting sex or a relationship and or too quickly, too slowly, not at all, immediately. Don't judge yourself. Know your timeline is your own and seek. You said one piece of advice, but I don't stop at one, Sharon.
Keep
Um,
going, Joan.
keep
Keep
going, Joan.
going.
Okay, as long as you keep going, Joan, I'll keep going. Um, realize that um, you are grieving. You don't get over grief. You get through it bit by bit. It
Mm,
changes. It is all enveloping at first, and then you start having times where you go out it and back in and out and back in, and suddenly you find, oh my gosh, I laughed for 10 minutes with this friend. How did I
mm,
do that? I haven't laughed for a year. You'll find that you can gradually open and realize that you have an inner resilience that will surface if you nurture it, not if you go, all right, come out now. I'm pulling that. Come on, resilience. I'm yanking at you. Don't yank at anything, let alone yourself. Be who you really are. Be open to change. Don't judge yourself. And when it happens, go slowly, step by step. It isn't an all or nothing thing.
mm.
And there's so much more in my book.
And we can't wait for our listeners to get a copy. So tell us, um, you have a special going on. Let's hear a little bit about that.
I do. So the 2019 book is still valid, but there's so much more in the 2024 book.
Ah,
All of the 2019 is in the 2024 plus four new chapters and new stories. So what I'm offering is if you buy Sex After Grief, the new edition directly from me, from joanprice.com, I will, by request, there's a place to check a box for the request, include a copy of the older book in addition for free so that you can give the older book to your grief counselor, the hospice worker, someone in your support group, your therapist. So you have a copy to give away. You can say, oh, you definitely should buy the new one. But while you're waiting, here's this.
Oh, that's powerful. I love that. You have a generous heart.
Well, I want people to have the message. I mean, grief is devastating. It is devastating. I don't even know how to tell you how devastating it is if you don't already know. I'm talking to the viewers. But if you're going through it, or if you're dating someone who's going through it, there are some things that will help you. You're not all alone in this. We've been there. We can help you.
That's so powerful. So I want to say thank you, Joan. Thank you for being so beautiful inside and out,
Oh,
and also having a genuine heart to equip people to enjoy life,
yeah,
regardless of where they are in life, what age, what
yeah.
situation. And it takes someone with a big heart to do what you do. And so thank you.
Well, thank you, Sharon. And you also. It takes a big heart to do what you do. And I'm so appreciative. I'm delighted to know about you, your work, and be a part of it in this.
Well, we have enjoyed this discussion with you. And listeners, I want you to know we have access to Joan's newsletter, I believe.
Yes,
It's a link underneath this interview that you can sign up and get this powerful newsletter that will help you navigate these new waters for some and old waters for others, but fun waters. Okay.
fun waters. We're going swimming.
Yes. And we're going to get our hair wet. So for a Black woman to say that, that means a lot. So
I
you
appreciate
know,
that. If you'll get your hair wet for me, I'll do anything you want.
thank you so much, Joan. We appreciate you. And listeners, let me tell you, viewers, let me tell you, run out and get this book, okay?
Get
Uh,
it from me, not from,
yeah.
that other place. That
Yeah.
other person doesn't need your attention.
No, no, So support, Joan. Thanks again. And thank you for tuning in. You know why? Because this whole summit is about you. We want to empower you to make informed decisions that will benefit you for the rest of your life. So stay tuned. There's more to come. Bye bye, Joan.
Bye.